Good morning, Longfellow leopards. Today's global learning presentation is about Ukraine. Ukraine is another country dear to my heart because my family's ancestors come from Ukraine. Ukraine is located in Europe. It is the second largest European country after Russia. The population of Ukraine is 44 million people, and the language that people speak in this country is Ukrainian. Ukrainian is a Slavic language, very similar to Russian. There are many words that sound the same as Russian words. However, there are even more words that sound very different, and only a person who knows and speaks Ukrainian can understand those words. The capital of Ukraine is Kyiv. Kyiv is an ancient city. It is filled with beautiful churches with golden domes, many tall buildings, beautiful parks, a very long and large river called Dnieper, many lakes, and other interesting places. The Ukrainian flag has two colors, bright blue and bright yellow. One of the most famous buildings in Ukraine is called St. Sophia's Cathedral. There's a world organization called UNESCO. It is an agency that identifies buildings and places around the world that have a very significant importance to the humanity. This building, St. Sophia's Cathedral, was chosen as one of those buildings. It was founded in 1037, but it looks like it's a well taken care building. It looks beautiful, and it's hard to tell that it is so old. Another interesting building in Ukraine, in Kyiv, is called MARIYNSKY Palace. It is the official ceremonial home of the President of Ukraine. All around the country of Ukraine, there are monuments, memorials, and museums dedicated to World War II. The reason for that is because Ukraine was one of the first countries occupied by the Nazi Germans during Second World War. Millions of people died during the war in Ukraine. The Nazis burned thousands of small villages with people in them during the war. To commemorate those events, to make sure these terrible events never happen again, the Ukrainian people want to remind themselves and the future generations that terrible events like Second World War should never repeat again. One of the fun places in Ukraine are ski resorts. The mountains that are located in Ukraine are called the Carpathian Mountains. This is one of the resorts where people can have fun skiing. One of the famous places in Ukraine is called Chernobyl nuclear power plant. In 1986, a terrible, tragic event took place in Ukraine. Nuclear power plants produce electricity. This specific power plant, called Chernobyl nuclear power plant, was not very well taken care of. one of its reactors exploded and very harmful chemical elements were released into the atmosphere. The radiation from the explosion started spreading very quickly to the nearby town, all across the country, even to nearby countries such as Russia, Belarus, even Finland, Poland. People who lived in the nearby town were quickly evacuated, but many of them got very sick. Many people died. Nobody has lived in this town since 1986. Here are some pictures to show what was left behind, because when people were evacuated, they could not take anything with them. This is a picture of an amusement park. This used to be a swimming pool, and it looks very abandoned now. This is a picture of Chernobyl Disaster Memorial in Kyiv. The portraits of people are those people who dedicated their life to saving others during this terrible disaster. One of the cities in the south of Ukraine is called Odessa. Odessa is located on the Black Sea. Ukrainians love to spend their vacations swimming in the sea and sun tanning. So this is the picture that shows people enjoying themselves. Some of the foods that are very popular in Ukraine are the following. Borscht is a traditional Ukrainian dish. Ukrainian borscht is different from Russian borscht, and borscht is soup. Varenykyi is a kind of dumplings that are filled with special cheese. Golubцы are cabbage rolls. There's a very tasty and famous cake baked in Ukraine called KYIV cake. This is a picture of it. Here are some Ukrainian words for you. Hello in Ukrainian is привіт. This word sounds pretty similar to the Russian привет, which is hello. Say привіт. To say goodbye, Ukrainian people say "До побачення." До побачення. Say "До побачення." Very good. Well, Longfellow leopards, this concludes my presentation about Ukraine. So, до побачення.